What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Game Day podcast here live at the Lick in Miami Gardens. As always, brought to you by Anna Jarn Levine Accident Attorneys. Loving life, man. Great win last week. Vibes are immaculate here at the Lick, and everybody's smiling. Everybody's enjoying their food. Just saw Kellen Wiley's dad walking in. Mr. Wiley, appreciate you. Got a feeling we're going to see a lot of young players like that making some plays here on Saturday against Bethune Cookman. Got the games on right now. Duke, Illinois. Baylor just scored a touchdown. Life could not be better. P, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. We had an amazing time here, the marathon show that we're going to do something similar today. Pretty much go until a couple hours before game time here. So if you are on your way to the stadium to tailgate, stop by the Licking Miami Gardens. You see it, the address on the ticker, 17647 Northwest 27th Avenue, Miami Gardens, Florida, about a mile and a half from the stadium, right down the street. But D, last week, we only had one game on. We have the games on now. We have the whole Saturday. We have two TVs in the recording room here.
And a lot more outside the recording room, too.
Exactly. We got Coach Mello.
We got Coach Mello in the building. How you doing?
Yes,
doing
sir,
great.
man. Appreciate you. So, yeah, man, we'll be here at the Licking about until 5 o'clock or so, I would say. Right, D? So, stop by, say what's up. We'll be back here recording and then, go to the main part of the restaurant as well to chop it up with you guys.
Yeah, get close to the stadium and then get your food, get your game on. All the things you want to do pregame, you can do it right here, close by without having to do it. And then had that long drive, get stuck in traffic, beat the traffic, get out to the Lickin'. D Hucks, man, saying, wish it was there. FOMO, full effect. I need those wings and yams. Really enjoyed getting to see you and your son last weekend. Obviously, a great trip. I know you guys had a good time watching the Canes take down the Irish. So, Pete, look, we'll talk about this game over the course of the day. I think it's more about kind of individual, really team performance and just overall sharpness. It's not so much about breaking down Bethune or anything like that. They struggled to stop the run. You saw FIU take it to them last week, FCS team. But who's going to step up for Miami and say, I need more playing time? You're going to play USF, which is going to be a real game. Florida, obviously, going to be a real game. Florida State, much more of a real game than it looked like. They look like the worst of those three going into the season. They're improved, so you got to worry about that one. And then, of course, long ACC slate ahead. So who's going to help you down that stretch? We know Josh Moore is going to be there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Malachi Tony is going to be there. Bryce Fitzgerald, you're seeing trends from him as SMU goes for another long touchdown.
Kevin Jennings is 10 for 10 now. He was 9 for 9, 161 before that one. So, man, sheesh.
Hey, we got a chance at those guys. I feel good about that matchup. But in general, who's going to step up? We got 3 freshmen played. Who's going to become part of that offensive or defensive rotation? I'm looking at guys like Pringle. I'm looking at guys like Kellen Wiley, Jabari Antoine. That's a loaded position, but he's a really good player. Brock Schott, Luka Gilbert, those guys who are going to make a play here. Dalen Upshaw. And that's just a few names that just come to my mind immediately. Hayden Lowe, Herbert Scroggins, the defensive lineman, Dante Simpson. So, yeah, a lot of guys that I think are going to push potentially for more playing time, not even including guys that are still young but are not true freshmen, some of the guys from that class of 2024 that want to get on the field. We're going to see a lot of young players competing for playing time. Then a starting offense that you want to see come out sharp and get the starters out of the game quick.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's not just – you mentioned a lot of players in specific, but it's groups. It's position groups. I think wide receiver, you're going to see – we saw a lot of rotation last week, but this is an opportunity for certain guys. Maybe a Chance Robinson. I'll throw his name in there, right? Yep. He's someone who had a good camp, was healthy. Ray, obviously, saw him a bit last week. JoJo Trader played more than I think people realized, had a bigger impact on the game than people realized with the way that he was blocking out there. But they tried to throw to him deep, right, early in the game. So even though you were very happy with Malachi's performance, CJ Daniels, his catch, Keelan Marion as well, you want to just get more guys some confidence in this one. And Alex Bauman, who didn't get any receptions last week, had slipped on a block attempt there, and there was a tackle for loss. Elijah Lofton had one catch, but I think he's someone that you want to get involved. So we're talking a lot about rotational players, but there's some very key pieces here that I still want to see have the ball in their hands today and get some good energy going for them.
Yeah, you mentioned two that are more on the starting lineup kind of guys that need to get going, which is Elijah Lofton, JoJo Trader. Both of these guys, if you asked me in spring, and people know, because if you listen to the show, you heard those two names a lot during spring, heard them a lot less in August. They were outstanding players in spring, dynamic. JoJo Trader with his fluidity, his ability to get in and out of breaks, body control, all those things that he brings. You saw that in spring with Emory Williams, Judd Anderson at quarterback, Luke Nickel, Elijah Loft, and the ability to run with the ball, without the ball, to block, which he didn't do a great job of last game, but I think he can do better. You saw all those things in spring. Now, Carson Beck obviously has now taken over as a starting quarterback. He was sitting out the spring while he was healing. So when he got healthy, Elijah Lofton, JoJo Trader banged up in camp. We talked about it. Didn't talk about it before Notre Dame, but you heard those names a lot less. So put two and two together. That's what's going on. Now, can they time back up with Carson Beck and show that dynamic ability that they had in spring? Still young players, both of these guys, second-year players, but can they show what they showed in spring, starting today with Bethune, and then going forward into these tough games in the state of Florida? We'll see. I think it's a big – as far as the starters, those are probably the two players I'm watching closest of those starting caliber players.
Yeah, I think offensive line as well. We saw a lot of rotation there in certain spots last week. Behind that, you want to see some continued depth, because you got 4 games for guys to play before they, they can't redshirt anymore. So some of these young offensive linemen, how many games do you? Hopefully, you have multiple blowouts you're using the mass subs feature in a college football video game there, but you can't expect that to be the case. This is one that, again, respecting what Bethune coming in here, but at the same time knowing what is most likely going to happen here. I would hope that you get some of these guys an S.J. Alafatuli, which, as the position he plays at center, I don't know how many reps he's going to get throughout the year. You have a Nino Francavilla, who probably I would say is going to play before him in that pecking order right now. But yeah, you want to get some of these guys reps and get them live action.
Yeah, as Illinois scores on a beautiful touchdown pass, great pass by Luke Altmaier. Question here from CLB Fit B Moore. The weeks we play Virginia Tech and Pitt, which is towards the end of the year in November, can the team get up there on Tuesday to be better prepared for the weather? Do you guys think it would be beneficial to practice in the cold weather before the game? I wish they could just stay there, because they're right next to each other. You can just stay in that region for that whole week, online classes and play games. I don't know the logistics.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to, really, does Mario want to venture out from what they've done all year, which yeah, I guess it's not all year, because it's going to be so many games at home, right? So it's not like they're going to be used to going up and then coming back and staying the rest of the week, but it would be something completely different from their normal schedule. So that would be an interesting scenario. I had not thought about that. My mind is on Bethune today.
My mind is on collard greens, fried broccoli, maybe a salmon platter. That's where my mind is at right now. But I'm trying to focus on Bethune.
I told Taylene when I got here, I said, I've been thinking about those lamb chops all week.
No, man, 100%. As Baylor goes for it on 4th and 1, they get it there. SMU's defense not looking particularly stout. Again, I'm not breaking down the game as much as I would otherwise, just kind of watching out the corner of my eye here. But watching this SMU game, and those of you who are watching in the comments probably watching a little closer on your 4 TVs, one of which is the CanesInSight podcast. We appreciate you. Like and subscribe. But, just looking at SMU, I see a team that is similar to last year as far as quick scores, big pace, get a lot of confusing wide open scores, similar to what we saw at Miami, right, where teams would just leave guys wide open because we were going so fast, there'd be miscommunication. But I don't see a ton of stout body types. Again, this is kind of blink scouting, watching the game out of the corner of my eye and a little bit before the show. But I don't see those big body types. Last year, Elijah Roberts, who's a phenomenal defensive lineman at the college level, pro guy. Jafari Harvey, who's pro, or at least a upper level college caliber guy. Harrison Hunt, solid player as well. So you have more body types coming from University of Miami. I'm not sure you have that same kind of stoutness on the defensive line when I watch these guys. And they're going to have a lot of trouble with Miami's offensive line. Not trying to look too far ahead, but the games that are going on now, I do think, and we saw a lot of this, by the way, talked about on the pregame shows, the college game day, big noon kickoff, just about how important offensive lines are and breaking down the offensive lines of the various contenders. I think Miami got a lot of rave reviews, deservedly so. And I mean, you look at Penn State.
Shout out. I was about to say, look at this. About to be halftime right here. Penn State is only up 10-0 on FIU. Coach Willie Simmons doing a good job down there.
Yeah, they got a
down
good
the street.
And look, Pata, we got a bunch of guys from down here.
Benedict Hippolyte down there.
You know, I don't know what the relationship is between Willie Simmons and Mario. I mean, I just don't know. Like, hopefully it's good because, you know, I could see that being a situation where maybe you help each other out, you run camps together. You know, we're so far away from when Manny lost to FIU. I mean, can you imagine Mario with this team that we have now losing FIU? I mean,
no,
it'd be impossible.
No, but
football.
No, but I want to see them do well. I like to have Keon Jenkins. I think they should get a QB from down here every year. There's too many good quarterbacks down here that go elsewhere, that get opportunities somewhere else. You know, even like Daniel Richardson, he should never have gone to Central Michigan. I don't remember what the story with his recruitment was. That was probably Butch era, but like and they had some good talents at quarterback then.
This FIU quarterback,
Mensa. Duke quarterback.
Or sorry, Duke.
Good throw.
Yeah, sorry, this Duke quarterback, Mensa, formerly of Tulane, Darian Mensa. We looked at him. I think we did a show on him when he entered the portal as a potential Miami quarterback. He looks good, man. Pro-style quarterback, really nice release. Not the biggest guy, but he has a good arm. California kid, 3-star, went under the radar, goes to Tulane, plays in that run-based offense, had Nakai Hughes, who's now at Oregon. So they were really running the ball, a lot of play action. Alex Bauman, Miami's tight end, was one of his targets. But now you see him in a little more wide open offense. Man, he can throw. We got some quarterbacks now in the ACC. It's the conference of quarterbacks, they say. But you're looking around, you see this dude slinging it, right? You talk about Carson Beck, one of the top quarterbacks in America. Cade Klubnik, you know, whether you think he's overrated or whatever. I mean, here we go. Big fumble by Illinois. Will they recover?
That's Trent Harris's group right there, the outside linebackers. Former Cane, Toolbox Trent.
Man.
And not to cut you off, but Jaden Hewitt, who's doing a great job on CanesInSight.com, says, when I was talking about Central Michigan, he says, Mount Pleasant's amazing, Pete. Didn't you know? Kidding, it's in the middle of nowhere. I've been to Mount Pleasant. I've been in a lot of places as an agent. I went over there and I saw he just got a big contract. I was recruiting Bernhard Reimann, the tackle for the Colts from Germany. I was trying to sign him, and the problem was at the time, that's when the international students weren't allowed to take NIL. So he wanted to sign with us for NIL, but he couldn't because he was an international guy. And man, I wish I could have gotten that one done. Ended up being a good one. I have been to Mount Pleasant. It's a quaint little town.
Just looking at the Virginia NC State box score, right? Because I confess, again, the school can't tamper. I can tamper all I want. We can tamper on this show. We've been tampering. We tampered with Beck before Beck jumped in the portal. I mean, I will say, Pete, you can attest, and the people listening to the show, the second that Beck's injury was not, catastrophic, and we knew he was going to be back for the season, we were calling for Beck. Both of us were saying Beck. So we tamper on this show.
And we also like Mendoza as well.
We tampered with him too. A pretty good one, I think. He's having a good game. So we like to tamper on the show. I like to think we tamper with the right type of players. Virginia, North Carolina State. Looking at this box score, I'm not watching the game. I see
non-ACC matchup. Remember?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. How weird is that?
Weird.
So,
but I kind of like it.
Hey.
If you don't have a team on your that you want to play on your conference schedule, you might as well
keep it in the family.
Better matchup than some of the other non-conference games.
So this is a real matchup. Virginia's playing improved under Coach Elliott. Look at the quarterback situation. Talk about the conference of quarterbacks, the ACC. Chandler Morris, I believe formerly of North Texas, right? He was replaced in theory by Poffenbarger. I think it was the backup. But Morris has bounced around. I believe he originally signed with Oklahoma State. He's been around the block. But a prolific passer last year at the G5 level. Musa, now the quarterback for Virginia. Athletic guy, accurate dude. We did a breakdown on him. 17 of 24, 131 yards, 1 touchdown. So he's playing well. On the other side, CJ Bailey. This is the guy that I've been kind of locked in on as, man, what would he look like with our offensive line? They're losing to Virginia at halftime, 24-14. Remember, NC State was rated in the portal. Basically, their whole entire defensive backfield went to better schools, USC. I believe LSU has one of those guys. They got around all across the country, and they lost, obviously, their best linebacker, Kamal Bonner, to the Hurricanes. We'll see him today. He's going to be one we'll talk about. But
your theory looks right there on the SMU defense.
21-24. It's a fun game to watch. But when it comes to NC State and Bailey, they lost a ton. Concepcion, his top receiver, goes to Texas A&M. They lost a running back to, I believe, Cal, Raphael. So they lost a lot of guys.
Not Andrew.
Yeah, not Andrew. Shout out to Rubino. But you look at this NC State team, they're not much there. They're losing 24-14 to Virginia. You say, okay, well, and they're at home, I believe, in this game as well. So you say, okay, well, Bailey must be playing bad. He's a quarterback. 9 of 11, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, also ran for a 30-yard touchdown. If you watch his highlights on Twitter, I mean, this dude is looking big. He is throwing it. He is running effortlessly. He's not Vince Young, but he's Vince Young-ish in terms of his body and the way he plays the game. I'm not saying he's that caliber. I'm just saying he's in that general outline.
At least we're keeping it to a college football Hall of Famer, not an NFL Hall of Famer.
Being humble out here. But, yeah, man, so you look at a guy like that and you say, okay, his situation is going downhill fast. The coach might get fired. If you're Miami, you can present, hey, listen, we screwed up. We missed you. We should have recruited you out of high school. We didn't. We made a mistake. It was our bad. We screwed that up. You got to say that because it's obviously the case. But you see our offensive line. We're going to lose some guys, but we still have some great young players. We're going to bring in some more. You look at our running game, which is as good as any I've seen in the country as far as the power element. I still have not seen a running back game that I'm like, wow, I wish we had that one. I mean, we just outran Notre Dame, which was the running game going into the year. And then the young receivers, talking about Malachi Toney will be a sophomore next year. Josh Moore will be a sophomore next year. You got some young talent coming in. JoJo Trader, we'll see what these guys do. So if you're CJ Bailey, you're seeing all this. Remember, he threw to JoJo Trader in high school for Chaminade. I'm just saying I see pieces falling into place. We're on a Canes podcast talking about another player for a while. It's Bethune what week, they're playing. I think it's the time to talk about it. It makes a lot of sense, Canes fans. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to speak it into existence. I'm tampering. And I think we're tampering in the right direction because this guy's a hell of a player.
I told you better beat Ohio State to the punch, though.
Travis Thomas said, no, D, he made his decision. We screwed up. We're the ones that should have been recruiting him hard. I mean, that's on us for not having him. If we would have rolled out the red carpet.
Yeah, and especially at that position, man, quarterback is one of you get your coach who's been recruiting you and you see the vision. It's not like it's a long-term, most of the time, more long-term relationship, I would say, D.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. We would have, so NC State's coaches get fired, he would have been with us as far as talking to our guys and learning about our guys longer than he would with those guys, to your point. So I think that makes sense. Jaden Hewitt saying, wait until Ohio State falls on their face and JJ and CJ Bailey get to talking. I don't love they're falling on their face, man. They look pretty good. I wouldn't be too worried about Ohio State. I'm not the biggest Julian Sain fan, but he'll do well enough that I think they keep him. But you made the good point before they went on air. I was like, man, we're talking off air. CJ Bailey makes a lot of sense for Miami. You're like, got to keep Ohio State and all these other schools away from him.
Yeah. Scotty, our boy Scotty here from the lab, says East Texas A&M have stuffed Florida State a few times. I saw Florida State was looking good on the box score. Deuce Robinson had a couple long touchdowns there, but let me pull up the numbers. That wouldn't.
He's saying it smells fluky, boys. It smells fluky. Chris Grotto saying, anyone saw Calvin Russell, 4-star Northwestern wide receiver, Syracuse commit with the Miami gloves? I know he's not really committed to Cuse. I mean, Cuse got smoked by Tennessee. It's only getting colder. And I think he sees Malachi Toney, who he's very close with, doing what he does on the field, packed stadium. I did a bank post. You can check it out on CanesInsight.com, 7.5 million posts and counting. Check out the bank. But I said it in the bank, and you said it on the work as well. A lot of momentum and juice, I think, with Calvin Russell. It's not a done deal. We'll see. But I think that makes sense. Super talented guy. I've said it. I don't think he's a finished product, but I think the upside is of a high-round receiver. And one thing I keep hearing from our guy, Coach Duasso, coach of Miami, former coach of the Immortals and a bunch of other 7-on-7 teams down here, one thing I keep hearing from him is Calvin Russell's intangibles. He says, listen, he doesn't say this about everybody. We don't repeat some of the stuff he says about, just like kind of like the scouting reports, because some of it is confidential. But when he really says this guy's got great character, Cam Kitchens,
DJ Ivy,
Malachi Toney, usually when he says that, Coach Duasso is pretty accurate. And he's like, listen, Calvin Russell's cut from that cloth. So,
competitor, really guy who wants to win.
Exactly. So,
and Mario, we've said this with him, and we don't say this with everyone. Mario's maniacal about recruiting, and I think in general we hear the stories about him being a serial texter. He's always on the phone, on the move in that sense. He's very on point. He doesn't miss the messages he's supposed to send. But I think with this recruitment in particular, there's an extra sense of you cannot lose this. You lose a Derek Cooper to Texas. The perception is it's Texas. You know what Texas is coming to the table with. Georgia, something similar there. But you don't want to lose to your rivals, the Florida States. And you don't want to lose a 5-star type talent with, his mom being one of the greats in the women's program's history as well, to a Syracuse with the stuff that you're saying. So, and I say that also knowing that they beat Miami last year, right? For the Syracuse fans,
throwing it all over the place,
pick this stuff up. So I say that all respectfully, but at the end of the day, this is a guy who's from down the street from where he'd be playing at, his games at, and it'd be a tough one to swallow.
Not far from the Lickin' right now, where we are at here. Get ready to get some lunch. It's going to be. I'm thinking, Pete. I'm going definitely with the broccoli, the fried broccoli for sure. I'm thinking fried broccoli. I'm going to keep it healthy. The fried broccoli, collard greens, and some salmon. But I know the lamb chops. You already told Eileen those are on your mind.
The lamb chops, and then
should we try the yams? I mean, D Hux was telling us that the yams were better than.
I was the one who told him to get the yams.
Oh, so you're already on the yams.
No, I'm getting the yams.
Right.
You get 2 sides, so I'm getting the yams, and I got to figure out what my other side's gonna be. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Look at this. Illinois, I gotta say,
offensive line looks right.
Yeah, Duke hit him early. Duke was pretty on him early, but Illinois has stayed with it. This is a nice non-conference, man. I like this matchup.
Yeah, it's a good test for Duke too. You want to see how you stack up. Illinois is a team that's ranked. I mean, they're ranked number 11 in the country, but there you go. D Hux knows about the yams,
dude. Yeah, we weren't hyping it, man.
Ooh, good job. Good. Defense
Natasha understands. I've been telling her. I think I was telling her about them earlier.
Shout out to the superstar saleswoman of the year, award-winning, globe-trotting.
At the Lowe's and the Gables, if you guys need to go do a private event, man.
So we got speaking of Syracuse, UConn just threw a touchdown wide open on a trick play. Jim Mora, UConn up 14-6 on Syracuse. Calvin Russell, come home, baby.
Good Big East battle, man.
Calvin Russell, come home, man.
Timeout. Boeheim calls a timeout after the first 4 minutes of the game there.
But listen, you're talking about. You're Miami. You were in Miami Gardens, right down the street from the Lickin' on Sunday. Sold out. I mean, Bezos, Rick Ross, every politician in the world. I mean, I saw Mike Piazza in the normal seats. My boy sent me a picture. I mean, these are just every Hall of Famer in the world, Major League and obviously professional football between Ray Lewis, Hester, you name all those Hall of Famers. So if you're watching that vibe and you see how Miami's able to physically do what they do, Malachi Toney is a young player doing what he does. Ruben Bain, another guy. Not that far from the Lickin' where he played high school ball. So you're talking about guys that are local players. Mark Fletcher, right? And these are the guys in Showtime thriving against real competition. Turn on these games. I mean, I'm seeing NC State getting smoked by Virginia because of poor defense. Duke and Illinois, nail biter. Illinois winning. SMU and Baylor, not a lot of defense being played. I'm not getting big time vibes from the games I'm seeing here. Now, again, we've not won the ACC. So for me to start talking down the ACC, we've never won it. And that's been 20 years now of never winning the ACC. There's people that are like grown-ups with families that have never seen us win the ACC. So, I mean, no one's ever seen us win the ACC.
I was going to say, who's
seen us win anything.
Who's seen us win the ACC?
But
I've seen us win the ACC in basketball.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that part of it. They're not scared there. But in terms of the football, we got to prove it. But just looking at some of these teams, I don't see big-time play. And also, if you're a recruit, you're Calvin Russell committed to Syracuse. If you are, I mean, who else are we even recruiting at some of these guys for?
Well, even a Nick Lanier in 27 class, who he's the other prospect that we saw with the Canes gloves on, and there's been some talk he reclassifies. Whether or not he reclasses or not, like, that's a big time talent that you want in this class, and Syracuse is in the mix for him too.
Yeah,
in a big way.
And it's mentioned CJ Bailey, not even guys that we're talking about as high school recruits, guys you might want to get. It's amazing. South Florida, I was saying that it was down, and it was, and it has been. Obviously, you got a Ruben Bain, you got a Jeremiah Smith. These are the best players in the country. But it's been down. But now you see CJ Bailey emerge. Fernando Mendoza emerging at quarterback. Even the lights out Jenkins for FIU at the G5 level, just quarterback position. You look at running back. You saw Isaac. Did you see Isaac Brown yesterday?
Yeah, 78-yard touchdown to seal it. I mean,
electrifying.
I like that kid a lot. I wish he was a Cane, honestly.
Jeremiah Smith as good as it gets. Malachi Tony we saw last week. Romello Brinson not anywhere near that.
Are we going to just call this the
open
right tampering show, by the way? We're just
tampering. Just put that. You should rename the show. We're tampering out here. I'm just saying. Part of this is figuring out your roster, and part of today is figuring out the roster. I know there's Canes fans. Good afternoon. Oh, the legend. What's up, man? How you doing, D?
DBC, what's up, man? How you doing?
So part of today is figuring out how this is going to look. Hopefully the starters go in, do their thing, get tuned up for USF, which is going to be a tough game. But, like, you want to see which freshmen are going to be big parts going forward. You want to see what freshmen you have to fight to keep when other people start tampering with our guys, You got to just kind of figure out who's who going forward. And I think this is a big day for you as evaluating your own team. And then we're always just kind of looking around the portal because it's hard. It's amazing. We did that portal show. So we talked about a lot of the portal guys, group chat sports. We got some things cooking. I know it's been dormant. Trust me, we got some things cooking. I'll let you know in a second. But we covered the portal pretty close. And now looking on Saturday, you see all these, like, you watch Illinois, like, you see guys that you saw go in the portal. Duke. The portal is just such a big part of college football right now. As you watch these other games, really knowing who's making the plays and where they were before. I mean, look at Baylor. Sawyer Robertson was I believe he's at Mississippi State. Now he's the best quarterback for Baylor. Just looking around, Michael Trigg's been in a million different places. The tight end for Baylor, who's one of their more dynamic receivers, signed with USC out of Tampa, Florida. So just seeing all this movement, it's a part of the game I think Miami's very good at. We talked about last week the guys that made plays. I mean, C.J. Daniels, you could start right there. Akeem Mesidor, Troy at the linebacker spot. Jacoby Thomas, really all Miami's entire secondary. A lot of portal guys making moves. James Brockermeyer, an outstanding performance last week at center. So portal just become a huge thing. And so I apologize for all our open tampering as those other games going on, but you really understand this is where we start to kind of put pieces together for next year's team while also getting ready to make a run for a championship with the boys that we had now. So let's talk about our guys, because I know we've been tampering a lot, Pete. Who are you looking forward to seeing tonight, particularly? Like, who's someone you're really got your eye on?
Gerard Pringle, man. Gerard Pringle at running back, because I don't know for certain if Lyle's going to play or not, but I would really say there's no reason for him to play. So you want to see a Chris Wheatley-Humphrey get some touches. You want to see a Gerard Pringle get some touches, and I think they will. And I'm excited about both of those guys in particular. Josh Moore, you mentioned him, but he he has a lot of people excited. And I think some people were surprised at how much he played last week. So that shows you the trust that Kevin Beard has in Carson Beck. Really Carson Beck, because he's, if he doesn't have that relationship on the field with those guys, and then you're just not going to see the same amount of reps. So to see him play in pivotal moments, expect him to get, you want to get him confidence going into we're talking about Florida game, but into next week, right? Because you kind of build up to that, and then once you get to the Florida game, then you're getting into the ACC play, and they're ready to rock, they're ready to go. So both of those guys in particular, you mentioned Kellen Wiley. He's someone that I want to see. Hayden Lowe, would be someone that I think physically is ready to go. Sometimes in a first game, because we didn't see him out there against Notre Dame. Sometimes maybe emotionally they thought it would be a lot for him against Notre Dame in primetime situations. So expect him to get more run here. And then I want to see certain guys like Armando Blunt Armando Blunt should go get a sack and a half today.
Yeah.
Should go get 2.5 tackles for loss. Like,
Yep.
I want to see him go do that because I just feel like with that defensive line position, those guys need to go grab some confidence. They need to go make a couple plays to be able to know that they can do it against anybody.
Herbert Scroggins, the guy that you reported the bank, I can confirm has been surging up the depth chart.
Someone mentioned him to me last night and said he has a very good chance to play a lot today.
Look, maybe somebody like a Marquise Lightfoot, right, who played a significant role in last week's game, but I'm sure he wants to have a 3-sack, 2-sack game. He's the kind of guy that you could just wake up and like, man, look at the box score. Marquise Lightfoot had 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks against Bethune. He's that kind of guy. I think it's a good game for him to, I don't want to say pad his stats, but I like to just say get his confidence up, really get his motor running. His motor runs hot anyways, but just a different level of confidence and know-how that he can do it. But he's a hard-playing player. He's a physical player for not being the biggest guy, and he is extremely fast, as you saw when CJ Carr was rolling left, and this guy just ran him down. Forced the incomplete. Could have easily had a sack. Speedster, Marquise Lightfoot. Looks like a wide receiver out there.
Pickett Jr., that's a good shout there by Travis.
Yep.
As someone that you'd like to see out there. Malik Bryant as well. I would say there's Gronowski, our boy, transfer from what was that, South Dakota State?
South Dakota State, championship quarterback.
Struggled last week against Albany, but he's a power runner, man.
Good game here, Iowa State. Iowa just went 10, about to kick an extra point, get to 10. Iowa State at 13.
Man, what a coach.
Yeah. Look at this. So they go with, I think, as quarterback power here. Just bring it right ahead. Boom.
Nice blocking.
Yeah, look, that's Kamari Moulton, who is from South Florida. I believe he played for Cardinal Gibbons. But yeah, Mark Gronowski, big physical running quarterback for Iowa. He could throw as well, but he's a runner, man. He's like that Tebow style, big, like fullback playing quarterback. He could throw probably, I don't say more, but he's a throw. He could pass too, but he has that running element.
Phil says Dante Simpson. That's another one for sure that I would be, excited to see get some confidence out there. Dalen Russell, guys that can be rotational pieces of this defensive line when you get to game 8, game 9, game 10, and unfortunately, guys are going to get beat up while Duke scores.
Well, let's see here. So Duke just scored a touchdown. So Darian Mensah rolling right throws a touchdown to the back of the end zone. Really a nice throw across his body to give his receiver a chance. I don't know if he got his foot down, but if he did, this is going to be one of those Sports Center plays. Let's see the toe tap here.
Ooh, I can't tell.
Oh,
man.
There's Dirk coming out. I think he got it.
There's Dirk coming out. There is. Let's see here. I think we'll see it from this angle.
Let's see, chat. What are you telling us here? Yeah,
that's all. I can see it on these crystal clear LED TVs here at the Lickin'.
Yeah, so shout out to a great play, great game going on right now.
Shout out to George Blissett, the grandfather of Brock Schott. I know you were in the chat earlier. He's someone that I'm definitely excited to see today. Both of those young tight ends.
Glad you brought it up.
That's actually a great point.
Great call. Both these tight ends I think we can do. And you'll see how different they are. So Brock Schott, speed, man. He's got a lot of speed, a lot of energy, strong kid. Not as tall, but tall enough, but he is fast, man. He's really like a big receiver, a big, very aggressive receiver when you see how fast he is when he gets going. You can see him make a big play. Luka Gilbert, taller player, smooth, coordinated, not as fast, but definitely a natural mover who can catch the ball with his hands. I like both those guys. I want to see both of them today, see step up and get some time in that tight end rotation. Pete, we're getting some recruiting questions. So I want to talk a little bit of recruiting. We got the games going at halftime here. We got a lot of time to talk Canes here with the 3 shows. We're going to be going on quite a bit here today. But we got a question about Aiden Pouncy. As I mentioned in the bank, and I want to just go through, let's get some recruiting videos ready because I want to just talk a little recruiting here because, Pete, I know you've been staying on top of some of our commits, some of the guys performing well. But Brandon's saying, after reading the bank, you mentioned Aiden Pouncy. I don't know much about him. What's a good comp for Aiden Pouncy? So let's pull up the huddle right here. Aiden Pouncy from Orlando. He is committed to Notre Dame, obviously a team that we know pretty well. Let's pull this out here. Let's see what we got with Aiden Pouncy.
From 7 days ago, it was a 2-minute highlight. I'll play it because I think it's probably better for me to play it unless you already have it up. Right? Go for it.
Yeah, I don't know how it's looking. But anyway, so Aiden Pouncy, 6'2.5", Oh, it's freezing
It's
up. All right,
freezing.
sorry, you
Yeah,
go ahead and do it.
let me do it.
Let Pete do it here. So Aiden Pouncy, I'll just talk about the player. 6'3". He's listed at 160 pounds. I don't know when that was updated. I saw him in person. He's a pretty strong kid. Definitely not the 6'3", I believe, not the 160. This is a big physical player. Committed to Notre Dame. Number 10 safety in the country in the composite. Number 12 safety in the country according to 247. Top 20 player in Florida on either ranking. 16th in Florida in 247. 17th in Florida in the composite. So it's your Winter Park, Florida, Orlando area. Committed.
It's freezing
to Notre
up
Dame.
on me a little bit here, so I don't want to.
All right, well, it's fine. We'll talk. We'll just talk about him. He visited in spring. He's someone we had interest in. He liked Miami, but ultimately Notre Dame gets that done and gets that commitment. We're still in contact with him. Obviously, Miami beat Notre Dame last game. We need safeties. I'm sure he saw Bryce Fitzgerald on the field doing what Bryce Fitzgerald has been doing. We'll see a lot more Bryce Fitzgerald today. But I think Aiden Pouncey's a name that is coming closer into focus here for the Canes, and someone you're going to continue to see us push for and try to flip. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but he's a target. And I support it because, to me, when I watch his film, he's one of my favorite players in the class. Long, athletic, makes a lot of plays. Look at Notre Dame's secondary, Pete. Probably the best secondary in the country if ours isn't. So, and then we'll have to see ours. I think it's still a lot to go. Jaden Greathouse being held without a catch and Malachi Fields not being ineffective, I think it's a good start. We'll see on our secondary, but Notre Dame's secondary is big time. And I think they're very good on their evaluations. Look at Kyle Hamilton, the deal he just signed in the NFL. So Xavier Watts, All-America last year. So they know what they're looking for at safety. They know what they're looking for on defense in general, in the defensive backfield. I think Aiden Pouncey from Notre Dame, commit from Winter Park, and then you'd love to flip. We don't hear him talked about a lot, so I wanted to present that to you guys.
Yeah, and I would also say, talking to different people, right? Someone else that I would throw in a similar situation, they may be further along with the Pouncy one, but DeAnthony Lafayette from Lake Nona. And I sent you his clips last night, and I posted it on the Discord. His clips from last week and early in the season, because the coaches have access. A lot of times with the huddle, they get access to the whole game. A lot of times guys aren't posting some clips. Like Ashari Charles, for example, doesn't have any of his highlights up yet this season, but the coaches have seen everything he's done. His film looks amazing this year. But like DeAnthony Lafayette is someone who committed to LSU, Lake Nona, and Orlando area. LSU look good defensively, so it's not like this is an easy flip or anything. But you brought him up months ago, and I think you were the first person to bring him up in terms of the Canes side. You brought him up on the bank. It was a name that was, brought up to me last night as someone they'd love to flip. Now, how long they are there, he would need to get him down, maybe to the Florida game, hopefully. But he's someone who has a pass rushing arsenal, man. I was very impressed with what I saw from him.
Speaking of impressed, I have to shout out my boy, CJ Bailey. Drives North Carolina State for another score. 12 of 14, 147 yards, averaging 10.5 per and a touchdown, man.
Put that game on TV. What channel is that?
Oh, yeah, the Licking, man. They got every game. I forgot. Let's see if you can find it, Pete.
Wrong remote. We got
questions. Let's see the questions here. Stephen Smith saying Kellen Wiley. Can't wait to see Kellen Wiley. His parents are literally right out here at the Licking, getting their lunch, enjoying life. And I just told them when I went outside, and we're gonna see some fireworks on number 30. He was playing special teams last week, so you saw him running down. I saw him with Pruitt, with Chase Smith, some of our good special teams players. By the way, our special teams now. Let's talk about this, Pete, because you have shaken up the college football world with your catchphrase on Carter Davis. Does sound a wee bit different coming off his boot. However, it's not just Carter Davis. Special teams is interesting to me. The coverage units flying around against Notre Dame. When things were returned, which wasn't often, these guys were swarming. They didn't really get anything going in the return game. And on our end, the little snippet you saw of Keelan Marion returning kicks, I wouldn't be very comfortable kicking it to Keelan Marion.
That looked a wee bit different too.
100%. And then, even Malachi Toney, just a natural. I mean, like, I sleep very easy at night when I know Malachi Toney's out there, because the way he tracks the ball as a receiver and then the way he tracks the ball as a punt returner, he just feels like, hey, he's going to get the ball. He's going to get you possession, right? So,
something that was brought up to me, because just we're on the special teams topic, and we have to talk about the bad thing, obviously, which was the botched snap hold situation. Just talking to some people, it was posted. This wasn't something that you think about right away, but this is something that a lot of old-time coaches would do, is take the 5 yards so you have more time to, the 5-yard penalty. Carter Davis has the leg to hit it so that you have the time to set up. It was more of a rushed operation, which, hey, you might need that at some point during the year, right? I'm not saying it's an excuse for what happened, but yeah, that's just those little things special teams wise. If you can clean those up game one operation. So you hope that that's the first and last of it for this year, because you just can't have that moving forward. But personally, I thought the way that they bounced back from that and didn't let it. How many times over the years have you seen that stuff kind of affect? It happens one time. Special teams is a very mental thing, and it's always an issue. We saw years ago with Fiegels, right? Like it seemed like a mental thing with him.
The air went out of the stadium.
Yeah, Bubba like you just like the tension builds, and it could have been that those other 2 field goal attempts, and obviously it wasn't. So I give them credit for bouncing back there.
Charles Thomas saying, did anyone notice a good deal of snaps were high from the center? There were some high snaps, but Pete, we heard the same thing from totally different sources.
Yeah.
I mean, not totally different, both, close to the program, but different sources confirming James Brockermeyer, a lot of internal happiness with how he played and performed Texas Christian center transfer.
Yeah, because with again, game one situations, it's not, and I think we saw this with Notre Dame. Like, yes, Miami's defensive line had a really good performance against Notre Dame, and Miami's D-line is really good. But there's some stuff, I think, on communication-wise that wasn't perfect from Notre Dame in game one. Like at least seeing what their fans and some of the film breakdowns and from their point of view, you could see why they feel I guess they're calling that an incomplete in the Virginia NC State game. But I think from Miami's perspective, it was very clean up front, right? So they give up, what was it? It was 1 sack on paper, and Beck had about 4 seconds there. So I think you could categorize that, or what some people would categorize it as a coverage sack. Mm-hmm. Francis got beat on that spin, but on that play in particular, he had like 4 seconds. Right? So it looks, a lot of stuff I saw the play in slow motion, it looks a little bit worse from Francis' perspective than if it's live situation. But yeah, that's what I would say in terms of Brockermeyer, is they were very happy with the unit cohesively, how they performed. Like, the talent is one thing. We know that they're a very talented unit, but things can go wrong in a week one situation like that. We saw last year against Florida, it was clean too, which that was Zach Carpenter there. But that's Alex Mirabal, the way that he has that group prepared, and Mario as well. I mean, they do such a good job with that unit.
Yeah, it's the best in the country, period, point blank. I'm watching Penn State having some trouble with FIU. It's 10-0. Drew Aller, Pete, has thrown 28 passes. If you had told me Drew Aller's thrown 28 passes, they're only up 10-0 on FIU, you're not feeling great about life as a Penn State fan. You shouldn't be throwing that much, first of all. Secondly, I guess they're up to 13 now, but struggling. It's amazing.
Yeah, but they can't score touchdowns on them. I mean, they had a 4th down stop in the red zone.
Yep.
So
they've run for 122 yards. It's amazing what's going. I mean, I guess they're untimely. We got some good quarterbacks here. As I look at the schedule, Pete, some interesting quarterbacks. We already played CJ Carr, who I think is going to be one of the better guys in the country by the end of the year. Just if he continues on his path, I liked what I saw from a Notre Dame fan there. You got USF with our buddy Big Braylon Brown.
Byron
Brown. Sorry, Big Byron Brown, who's looked as powerful as I've seen running the football last week. Florida with DJ Lagway, probably the best player left on our schedule. I hate to say it, but he's pretty dynamic. Florida State, Castellanos playing a lot better. I'm not a believer yet, but on a good day, he can hurt you. Louisville, Moss didn't look outstanding yesterday, but Brom's going to have those guys right. Stanford, that's not going to be much of a game. SMU, Jennings, with what he's been doing today, throwing touchdowns, not letting that Penn State playoff loss affect him too bad. Syracuse, Angeli, he should be able to throw. TJ Bailey, who we've been talking about in this show, he's coming down to the rock. Drones, a paper you think is not playing very well. We saw him against South Carolina struggle, but killed us last year. And then Pitt with Eli Holstein, big athletic, former Alabama commit, signee, I believe. I think he transferred to Pitt. So a guy with a lot of blue chip ability. He had a good start to last year before he got hurt. So there's some talented quarterbacks on Miami's schedule. It's going to be interesting to see Miami's secondary continue to tighten up. We'll see how they play today. They're going to have to continue that momentum, but they're going to be tested by some of these quarterbacks, as will the pass rush. But both units look much improved when we saw them against Notre Dame.
No doubt. We're over 800 live viewers here. We're live from the Licking. Now we got the highlights here of Penn State, FIU. What a cool moment for them, man. Look at that.
They're lucky it's not in Pitbull Stadium. If it was a Pitbull Stadium, it would have a different story.
It would be a way different outcome, that's for sure. Go ahead.
No, Drew Aller, Pete, what do you think? I'm not a huge believer.
It just, it doesn't.
Red zone turnover by lights out.
It just doesn't pop for me with Drew Aller. I don't think he's bad. I don't see like, hey, I have a top 10 pick in the draft. This is my guy for the future, me personally. But I don't know.
Would you trade Beck for Drew Aller?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, and I wouldn't have done that before the season.
No, me neither.
Like this is not off of one game scenario. I think James Franklin is a elite coach, like a really good coach, better than people think. Has trouble winning the big game. Yes, we can say that, but that's a double-digit plus win team every year.
Guaranteed.
10, 11, 12 team win team every year.
And Penn State is not a team. Ohio State, it's not like they do this all the time. Penn State had a long period of trouble. Obviously, we know what happened with the molestation scandal. So Penn State's got a lot of bad stuff going on. He really cleaned it up and made it so the expectations are on the moon. I'm a big, huge James Franklin fan. I think he's one of the top 3 coaches in college. But look at this comment from your boy Beaufil from Belen Jesuit.
He said, "If the moon was made out of licking ribs, would you eat it?" If many things were made out of licking ribs, I would eat it, man. That licking sauce is something to behold.
Yep. Let's see. Claude Fleet says, all facts, Drew Aller Chiefs. I don't know he got rated so high. I would say the big difference when I look at, oh, wow, man, East Texas A&M having some trouble there with Florida State, 56-0 at the beginning of the third. So when I look at Drew Aller compared to like a Carson Beck, I think the big difference is it's so much quicker with Beck. Beck's release, his mind, everything is just quick. Where I think with Aller, it's just a lot slower. He's got the arm, he's got the size, but everything is just slow.
I'll say this though, like it's not like when they tried to convince us on Drew, whose name, Hackerman.
Oh yeah, Christian Hackenberg.
Christian Hackenberg. I never saw it with him. That rating just carried him throughout his time there. Aller is a good quarterback. I'm not gonna say but to be pegging him as a first-round pick, I don't know.
Explosive run for number 3 for NC State. I'm trying to see who that is. I'm not sure I'm familiar, but he's got some juice to him. Smothers.
Oh, that's Hollywood Smothers. That's Hollywood Smothers. Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, that was a nice run.
I told you about Hollywood Smothers, man.
Yeah, some good names in this game. So just looking at some of the names in this game right here, Hollywood Smothers. You can't get a better name than that. There's like the leading receiver of Virginia had a great name. Let me tell you right here. Hold on a second. So the leading receiver for Virginia in this game, well, they got Jamal Edgerine, who's a local guy. Dakota Twitty, number 9.
I like Will Wilson.
Wilson
for NC State.
Dakota Twitty. I don't know if there's any relation to Conway, but
you know who I would say, going back to recruits, real quick, D, who have had a fantastic start to the year, and let me see if I can get a better my internet seems to be good
let's
here,
see. Let's
Tyron Evans. Yeah. The first 2 weeks of the year he's caught deep balls, but we saw him the other day, huge. But what I'm about to show, if I can get this to work, is a guy who has some movement ability, some jiggy to him for his size. I mean, legit 6'3". Yeah. 6'3" and a half
plus. Yeah, we saw him in person.
I heard he's 215 right now. I mean, he's muscled up. Man, it's so
on Monday. So this was the day after the game, which was on Labor Day. We went to to do interviews on campus. We'll be putting out a video with some of the high school recruits that were there. Should be coming out this week.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have that out tomorrow.
So we're out there at the Hecht, seeing all the players come in. Everybody's happy to just be in Notre Dame. Day after, some receiver recruits show up. You see Vance Spafford, talk to him, the family, they were great. And then Tyron Evans, we didn't talk to. He just kind of walked by. But we both looked at each other like, this is a big dude, man. He looks taller. Compared to like Isaiah Horton, who's a pretty big guy. I think he's just a little bit taller than Horton, at least from what I could see. And that Horton's a tall guy. I mean, I was surprised when I saw him. He looked like a tight end, and not like in a bad way. Like he looked the part. And he's someone who didn't play a lot of football.
Here we go. I think I got it.
Here we go.
Let me pull it up, man. This guy
did not play a lot of football as a sophomore. really had his breakout season last year where he led the nation in terms of yards per catch, at least in terms of the prospects. And then you see him now, and he is continuing to put it together.
This thing has 7 views from last night, so you guys are some of the first people to see it. But he's got the feet of a
CJ Bailey doing the Vince Young touchdown.
But he's got the feet of a little guy for his size.
Yeah, and 100% the production. I mean, this is not a dink and dunk player. This is a guy who gets 30 yards every time he touches. I mean, look at that.
It's
the competition in this particular game, I don't know. Although from what I'm told, this guy comes from a big program in Charlotte, and they play real teams. This particular game, he's got, you know what, they don't look that bad.
But look at this. He takes a hit. Ooh. I mean, I'm telling you, the first 2 weeks, it's just like one deep ball touchdown, like on each game. But I like how they got him the ball in this game.
Yep.
You know, quick hitch and his his run after catch ability. I don't know if it's coming through good on everyone else's, but yeah, man, that guy. I apologize if it was a little freezing up there, but it looked good on my end. That guy, I think, is gonna be a nice player at the next level.
Clutch says he was staying next to Mike Irving on the YouTube channel, and he was bigger. So,
yeah, I saw it posted a picture with Mike Irvin, and he did. He had his arm around Mike Irvin like this, and he looked like Mike Irvin looked like he was his son almost.
Yeah, man. So, man, can life get any better? The only thing that can make life better, honestly, is some fried broccoli. Want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Andrade and Levine Accident Attorneys. If when you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Andrade and Levine.
D, I also wanted to shout out our friends at Lomello's Meat Market. I know a lot of you guys watching this show right now are across the country. Lomello's is the best Wagyu beef you can have delivered to your door nationwide. Lomellos.com, promo code CIS10 for 10% off. And look, if you don't want to go full out Wagyu to celebrate the win over Notre Dame last week, you can do the prime USDA, which is top of the line stuff, but this is fresh, never frozen. You'll get it delivered right to your door. And then if you're here locally in Miami, US 1 and 98th, again, Lomello's Meat Market, you get the tomahawks, you get the skirt steaks, the New York strips, the fillets, you get it all, the burgers, the sausage. So check them out. CIS10 for 10% off.
You know, one thing I'm looking at with the SMU, which is the future Canes opponent. See if we can get the SMU game on here in a second. As I look at SMU as a future Miami opponent, one thing I noticed, number one, think back to Miami when we had Rhett Lashley. We would have good games against kind of mediocre type teams on offense. The NC States, we'd light them up. Had much more problems when we leveled up against the Alabamas of the world. That kind of team was much more problematic for us. I mean, obviously they're problematic for everybody, but I think those big defensive lines, better defensive backs, the fast kind of gimmicky stuff doesn't work as well against those type of teams. You can't catch them as often, and you run into some more problems. Obviously, they can punish you more in the offensive end as well. But then you look at SMU today as they play the Baylor Bears, which is not by any means a dominant defense, even with Coach Aranda as a defensive guy. You look at their rushing numbers, 2.7 yards a carry for SMU. Now, look, they could break one. Chris Johnson's liable to break one. But against a team like Miami, which has done it, you saw what they did against Notre Dame's running game. I think it's going to be very hard for SMU to be two-dimensional against Miami, and they're not a type of team that you drop back and just kind of scan the field and throw. Probably more of a catch you off guard type of passing offense, or not. Jennings is not the biggest guy. He's not the most talented passer in the world. So I think you can project forward to that game, and we're gonna have some big advantages in the trenches based on what I'm seeing here watching these games. They're dangerous. They won the They didn't win the ACC, but they got second and went to the playoffs last year, which we didn't do. But just watching them, I see it. I see a favorable matchup from a physical standpoint.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to defensively for Miami, the fundamentals, the tackling. I think you're going to see a lot of teams trying to go side to side and testing how Miami can tackle. Kind of maybe guessing Miami is going to be aggressive, trusting the corners to man up. That we expect to be very, some of the best in the country. But can you trick them? Play action wise, RPO wise, I think it's going to be more of that because, again, just watching last week against Notre Dame, you'd expect this defensive line to win a lot of these battles.
CJ gonna look good at in the orange and green next year per Ron the man. I wonder where he's from. He went to Chaminade. Is he from this area? I mean, we're right here by the stadium. There's a lot of players from this area go play at the Broward private schools. I think of JoJo Trader. I believe him and Jeremiah Smith are both from Miami Gardens, and they played in Chaminade. So I don't know where CJ is from, but we gotta get that. We gotta get that tampering going here at the Lincoln.
The Licking.
Sorry.
So, and just so you guys know, so we're going to do, this is what we did last week, and this is what we're going to do every Saturday. We're live here right now we go about an hour at a time, and we'll take a break, hang out with anyone that's here now. And of course, I got this right here, D. I got to show this. After the game, right, of course, we're here pregame, but after the game, if you guys are hungry, right down the street, DoorDash, Uber Eats, you can pick it up here at the Licking. I'm telling you, the food is phenomenal. I can't wait to put the orders in after this, and then we'll hop on the stream again with our food like we did last time. That was fun.
Danny Boy's saying, I like this. You're at the stadium. We're right next to the stadium, so
a mile and a half away, Danny. We'd love to have you as our guest here, man. That'd be awesome.
This is what I'm recommending for you guys. I mean, again, the Licking is 5 minutes away from the stadium. There's no traffic right now because the game's at 7. Just beat the traffic, get over to the Licking, watch some games, eat some food, kind of take your time, enjoy your pace. Then you can tailgate, you can go to the game, you can do whatever you want. If it rains, obviously you have this as shelter. But the location of the Licking allows you to beat the traffic and then do what you're going to do anyways, which is watch a million college football games, add in the food element. Instead of picking up McDonald's or whatever on the way over, you're talking about elite food, Southern cooking, some of the best in the city of Miami. And yeah, man, I'm fired up. I feel bad because I feel like when you get to the last 4 minutes of we do these in hourlies, right? So we do hour 1, hour 2, hour 3 as we get ready for the game, for these night games. I feel like by the time we get to that 56-minute mark, we're already starting to taste
we're at
the food.
and then we're at 1,000 viewers. So
like and subscribe to the show. Everybody, appreciate you guys. Who has Sawyer Robertson, athletic player with the first down.
Jason Williams asking, is CJ Bailey a more athletic Ja'Cory Harris?
I mean, I think he's more talented, just in general. He's bigger too. I mean, Ja'Cory Harris was like 6'3".
This guy's a little stronger.
Yeah.
I think it's the core strength that you're looking at. But
when he's 6'6" instead of 6'3", and the core strength, and he's got big hands, he's just bigger. He's a bigger guy.
I just think Ja'Cory in a different era with the right situation around him would have been.
He threw a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, I think he would have been even better though. Is what I'm saying.
I can see that. I remember think of some of those Art Briles teams, right? You can just picture him on those teams, just throwing all over the place. So yeah, man. Shout out to Ja'Cory Harris. I mean, Ja'Cory Harris, look, was a good player, man. He put a lot of points on the board for the Miami Hurricanes. Didn't always have the best situations that he was dealing with around him, but he did his thing. He wasn't like a guy that like a Kirby Freeman that just kind of came in and did nothing. This guy played and produced. Mm-hmm. But I think with Bailey, I do think just more bigger, faster, more talented overall. I think CJ Bailey, I'm not comparing him as talents. I'm just saying his style of play in college, much more like Vince Young than I expected. Because I mean, long strides, run pass, similar distribution of run pass, similar size. Even their motion looks kind of similar. Not saying he's that caliber of player, but I did not expect CJ Bailey, as we watch Sawyer Robertson get a targeting here.
Yeah,
I did not. I didn't expect CJ Bailey, based on what he did in high school, to be this good of a runner. I knew he had great intangibles. He was always a great winner, always a good leader, and read the defense as well. Always had the height. You hope that the height and the weight might help his arm strength, which it clearly has. He's gotten cleaner with the arm strength, college coaching, making a big difference there. But the speed, I did not know he had this kind of speed. He is effortlessly running for long touchdowns against ACC competition. If you do not account for him as a runner, he will eat up yards in 2 seconds, and he can throw. So, I mean, we're talking a lot about a player that's not on the Canes right now as we're here at the hour mark, over 1,000 on. Like and subscribe. But, man, I'm trying to speak it into existence. We got one number 1 overall pick. Carson Beck today. Let's get 4 touchdowns, get on the path of being another number 1 overall pick, and then bring in whoever the number 1 overall pick is next year. And let's keep this thing rolling, man. Let's bring back quarterback you.
Travis asking how long before we come back on. I don't think we'll take too long. We'll be back by 2:45 or so, maybe.
Yeah. We'll let it know. It depends how long the food comes to take out, but these guys are pretty quick, man. Shout out to Chef Bridget and the whole team out here at the Lickin'. Look, the people that were here last week, you hear them in the comments. The first thing they're talking about is the food. They're not talking about the company. You know what I mean? As Baylor gets another first down, looks like they're going to score a touchdown.
There's going to be some good games here down the stretch, man. You got Illinois game heating up. Illinois Duke here heating up Duke, man. I'll tell you one thing. A Manny defense, they're going to get some tackles for loss.
See, Tyson Tracy, remember Stephen Morris used to give us 7 to 14 points a game, drawing defense off sides and throwing free play TD. You don't see that
NC State game.
That's true. I forgot about
remember that game? We went to
Best
Hooters.
game
we
ever.
went to Hooters after.
Yeah,
I was a young bull back then.
That was 2012. So how old were you?
18 years old.
Young buck. Were you drinking? You were not legally able to drink.
I wasn't drinking.
There you go. What a law.
I wasn't a drinker like that at a young age.
Yeah, I was drinking at that time pretty good. I remember that game, and that was insane. Stephen Morris with that walk-up touchdown at the doorstep.
I like Altmaier, man. I like Altmaier as a quarterback for Illinois.
He's solid.
You can win games with him.
Another transfer. Remember, we talked about the transfer portal. Okay, so I'm out here watching. D, why are you always talking about transfer portal quarterbacks? What about these? Look at this 5-star, man. Don't you want this 5-star? We're sitting here watching. I'm seeing Illinois with Altmaier. He's a transfer from the SEC, I believe. I think he's from Mississippi State. You look at Duke, Darian Mensah, transfer from Tulane, very expensive. Sawyer Robertson's about to score a touchdown here. I believe he's also a transfer from Mississippi State. They're SEC transfers, Altmaier and
I think Altmaier was Ole Miss.
Yeah, maybe Altmaier was Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They were both that's incomplete. They were both SEC transfers. So that to me is what's going on. Travis is saying not the portal again. I'm just saying, it's hard to miss when I'm looking at all these guys. But you get the point. Portal's the name of the game for quarterbacks. Or maybe not. Look, we're going to see Luke Nickel potentially tonight, Emory Williams. Let's see what those guys can do. I know we're like the people at the shop. We're not looking at what we already have. We're looking at the stuff that you know, it's on the shelf. But we got Emory Williams, got Luke Nickel, Judd Anderson. Who's going to play today? If Carson Beck can do his thing, get out early, we might see those guys throw the football and do what they do. Travis Thomas, you already know who he wants to see. Number 15, the president of the Judd Anderson Fan Club, Travis Thomas. Appreciate you always supporting the show. But yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll hop off here, D, and we'll be back on with you guys within the hour. Canes Insight live from the Licking Miami-Bethune Cookman pregame. See you guys soon. Hit that like and subscribe. We'll be back in just a bit.
Go Canes.